Okay, so first of all, I will talk about our team OPOC only. So we are a unofficial club from I and developed by students of IIT Goa. So just a reminder, some of you think it's an official club. No, it's not an official club. And a brief intro about me. I am Aniket Chaudhary. I am a competitive programmer and a deep learning enthusiast. And not on I it's not like I am competitive programming in team OPOC. Everyone of us do competitive programming. So if you have any doubts after this session or in future, you can ask any one of us. Also, you can find me in any coding platform or Instagram or everywhere where ID system works. You can find me at the rate Ani Chaudhary. So, first of all, we start with what is competitive programming. So, think of like some one player game. Think of like you are playing a game with a basketball where you practice at home and you have a basket attached to some wall and you put baskets in there and you practice to put basketball into that basket and try to improve. Now you come to some of your friends or through newspaper you come to know that there is a competition being held state-wise regarding similar to this sport. You go to a place, maybe some consider like a ground, where you have some hundreds of players, and you compete against them. Like you put the basketball into the basket and number of baskets everyone puts, and on the basis of that you get a leaderboard in the final, and on the basis of leaderboard you will may get some prizes, or you may get, if the event is held every time, like consider every month, then you may be associated with some rating. Like cricket has some rating, test cricket, who's the best test cricket player, that rating on some basis. So now for competitive programming, just replace that basketball with coding, that ground with internet, and players with the competitive programmers. So and the basket with questions, coding questions. So it's I guess you may understand what's the analogy I'm talking about. So competitive programming is a sport where people come, contestant, sports programmer, we call them sports programmer. So they come and they are provided with a set of questions and the number and some fixed limit of time. So you do the questions, and the number of questions, the more number of questions in less time you get, the more marks or the more rating you get, the more on higher you step up on the leaderboard. And on the basis of leaderboard, most competitive programming websites has a thing called as rating. So your rating increases or decreases relative to your earlier performances, and also it depends upon how others perform. And in the basketball game I talked about hundreds of participants, but in this competitive programming there's are tens of thousands of participants competing at a time. So I don't want to give you a false idea that the first contest you give and you will get some prize or you will get some reward. No, you won't get. There are many experienced programmers out there, but gradually you will participate in many contests. Like you could have participated in the CFS event, the competitive programming event. Like those small events can get you prizes, but it competitive programming is not just for prizes. So we will talk about why you should do competitive programming. So you may think, or you may have listened to someone, maybe I have said only this thing, that competitive programming helps you improve logical thinking and problem solving. Also, it helps you learn programming language thoroughly. These are good, but if you plot them, this and the reality I am sharing with you, the actual reality, which is that uh, without competitive programming, you cannot pass the round one of any internship or placement of tech company or any company which is hiring for a tech role. I'm not talking about non-tech companies which are business analysts and that. For any tech company software development role, you will need to pass a competitive programming round. That is the first round of any company. Without that, you can't even sit for the interview. And in that round, only competitive programming questions come. Some of the seniors may say that competitive programming is not important. You should go after DSA, data structures and algorithms. But DSA is one thing that is asked in interview. But you have to clear the first stage, that the first round, that is competitive programming. And the best way to master DSA is competitive programming. So all in all comes to that you should do competitive programming. And it is not like that. You may find some exceptions, like if you are applying off campus, you may not have to give the coding round. But yeah, majority, like 90%, yeah, or 95% of the time, you have to give this competitive programming round. So according to me, if you plot this competitive programming versus plot, then the expectation that I have written contributes to 49% and reality contributes to 51%. So major lies with the reality. Expectations are not wrong. It does help. Competitive programming is the best way to improve your logical thinking and problem solving. So you would have seen this meme on the description page also. So as I was saying, that without competitive programming, even if you have any development work, be it Android development, Django, this is backend, means backend, Angular, all, or you may have done machine learning, web development, it doesn't even matter to any interviewer. Because uh, see, I have, my brother gave this all. He sat in the interview process of placements when he was in the fourth year of college, and it was at home only. So I saw all the process that goes into. Every company, literally every company, had a competitive programming exam in their first round. And maybe the contestant, or the who is wanting to get a job, has done many development projects. It doesn't even matter. It matters in the technical interview round, where they discuss about your resume. So competitive programming is a must. Take it for, like, I can't say, वो होता है ना, पत्थर की लकीर, वैसे it is very important. You can't skip it at all. Okay, so before we talk about why C++, I just want, Somesh, can you activate the poll, the first poll?
I'm trying.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I can also publish it. No. Okay, you have published. Okay, so which programming language you prefer for coding? I am not talking about any development work particularly. Like, don't write for machine learning or web development. They have specific languages. I am talking about in which language do you want to, general coding, like you are given some particular code and you want to write. Don't select on the basis of the development you do. Okay. So most of you are voting for Python, and it's obvious that you are being taught Python in your first semester, so you are doing in Python. Okay, and some of you are doing in C++. That's nice. Okay, we have 31 votes. Okay, so 25 of you out of 39, and 39 minus I guess 35 students. So 25 of you are doing in Python. Okay. So see, Sumesh, you can just close the poll. Let me know when you close it. Okay. So it's not like C++ is the only language you can do competitive programming with. Uh, we have Srajan here, who does competitive programming in Python, and we have some, you may have listened names of Nanni and Neetu, who have just cleared their step intern, Google step intern, and they also do in Python only. So it's obvious that you are being taught, so you like to do Python only. But the first line I have written, because why not? It's like in your whole 4 years of college, you will not just stick to one language. Like you will not do only Python or only do C++. You will come across many of the languages. So why not learn C++ also? And there's no issue with Python. Just the C++ is considered to be the best choice for competitive programming. And you can start with Python. And the those who are doing in Python, I recommend you start only competitive programming in Python only, and side by side you start learning C++ also. Like I also started in Python only. Then after 1 month or 2 months, I had to shift to C++ due to some constraints that you also feel, because whenever you will go to the solutions of these questions, you will always see they are given in C++, because C++ is for much before time. Python just came in 1980s or 1990s, but C++ is for many years, and programmers are doing in C++. So all the resources you will find, all the study material you will find for competitive programming, most of that will be in C++ only. So after a certain point of time, you will think that I need to shift to C++. So why not just shift to C++ in the starting only? Those who are doing Python, continue doing competitive programming, or start doing competitive programming in Python, and eventually shift to C++. It's not like just directly jump into. You may take some 2 to 3 months to shift to C++. Or if you are very much like I will do only in Python, I can't say anything. Go on. There is no issue at all. Just you have to be proficient in your logic building. That I will talk about why you should be proficient in that. Just I will give you a bit of downsides of Python in the further slides. Okay, so roadmap. This roadmap is what we have followed, or we have not followed. Like we got some many obstacles on our way. So after our experience and my experience also, this is the best roadmap that you can follow to learn or do competitive programming. So first of all, for doing competitive programming, obviously you need to learn a language. You are doing Python, start in Python, no issues. If you are in C++, then it's good, start in C++. And many of you are doing on practice on HackerRank, as I can see on the group you asked out. So the for practicing language, not competitive programming, for practicing language, HackerRank is the best website. They have the questions that will bridge the gap between learning and language and competitive programming. So don't skip on HackerRank, otherwise you will just get confused what coding questions are, how to solve them. So next is the CF problem set that I have written. CF stands for Code Forces. That is a platform I will just talk about. So Code Forces has a problem set. Code Forces regularly conduct some contests, and on the basis of the questions that come in the contest are stored in its problem set, and problem set shows some of the features. uh, okay, I will show after this slide. So number of participants who have done and all that. So you need to start with that problem set. Then don't directly jump to the contest of Code Forces. You will not be like, you will feel your morale will go down. So start with ABC contest. ABC stands for AdCoder Beginner Contest. AdCoder is another platform. I will just talk about it also. They have the best coding contest for beginners, like the best. The first two questions are like just cakewalk. They will help you get motivated to do competitive programming. Then after you give some contest, I will provide you with a website that will help you keep track of the contest. Then start after you give some contest, you will get to know what actual competitive programming is. Then it's a time you should learn some competitive programming topics. Like there are many topics on the basis of which questions are made, competitive questions are made. So you should start learning them from YouTube. There are some very famous channels. I will also show you that. Then after you have learned some topics, don't think you have to learn all the competitive programming. Don't just go for some series that are put by uh, who are they? Code with Harry, Love Barber. There are some who have all the competitive programming series. So just don't start from the zero series and add at the 150th play 150th video of the playlist and then start doing competitive programming. uh, Learn some topic like number theory and then start doing questions from the code forces platform, then learn something that do. Just don't directly jump into trees, graphs and all. You should give much time to the basic concepts. Then after you are learning these concepts, then start doing code forces and code chef contest. Also, which contest I will talk about that, not all contests. So just we will talk about the platforms. So the major three platforms are Codeforces, CodeChef, AdCoder. So you can just drop in the comment section which all platforms you have heard about or you have given contest on or you have just solved some problems on it. I just want to, or maybe Sumesh, can you create a poll quickly regarding this?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. We will go through the websites, these all platforms once we talk about them.
Guys, one thing to add, this is not any kind of a lecture. It's just a
Yeah.
session by us only. So make it more interactive. If you have any question, ask it in the Q&A chat. If anything you want to share, any meme, everything is allowed. Just put it in the chat. You can show your talent and the people can enjoy it. So just make it more interactive.
Yeah. Isn't it multi-correct? Okay, I will. No issues if you have some other answers than this. Click others. Okay. So most of you. Okay, so I will give since it's a single answer, I guess. So give priority to code forces over hacker rank if you have if you know code forces and have given some tried some questions over it, and give lead code preference over code forces. So like if you know lead code, then lead code. If you know code forces, then code forces. If you don't know both of them, hacker rank. If you didn't know all three, then others. Okay, so most of you are aware of hacker rank, and three of you know code forces. And those who have just written others, can you write in the chat what others you are talking about? Newton School. Okay. Geeks for Geeks. Okay. 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 Adarsh, you can just answer in the poll. There is no vote to lead code. Okay. Okay. Haven't started CP yet. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay. So maybe close the poll. So Code Forces is first of all, I would like to clear something like Geeks for Geeks is not a competitive programming platform. Geeks for Geeks is for learning competitive programming, and they have a built-in compiler there, so you can practice there. But they don't hold some contests. Maybe once in a year or twice in a year, they just hold some contest. So it's not a competitive programming platform. It is used for helping or learning competitive programming topics. Like it will be the only it will be one of the best website that you will encounter to learn competitive programming, but it is not a competitive programming website. Okay, so the most famous platforms are Codeforces, CodeChef, and AdCoder. AdCoder, I guess maybe one or two of you may have listened about it. So Codeforces is the best website to practice competitive programming. It has a huge community. It's a Russian website, but now it's internationally accepted website for competitive programming. It has a huge community and a very simple user interface to help you locate where you have to go and where have you find questions and all. Then the USP of Codeforces, the edge that it takes, is Codeforces has a section called Codeforces blogs, and the top coders of world put some blogs there, put some material, and these are the best material that you will find for learning some of the specific topics of competitive programming. Like no YouTube video can ever match their level. So the best method, or maybe some coders also share their experience, and also you can ask that it is a community, so you can ask your question and some of the persons will answer, and after every contest they have the comment section, so people discuss their solution. Like you will get a platform to discuss your solutions, what you went wrong and all. So this is the best thing about Codeforces. Then CodeChef, most of you may have listened its name. It's an Indian website under the initiative of an academy, maybe an academy bought it. So it holds some regular contests, and the questions are relatively easier in CodeChef than Codeforces in official contests. And you will not find much difference in the starting, because the starting 1 to 3 questions in general coding contest there are around 6 to 7 questions, and starting of this level you will find CodeChef a bit easier on the second or third question, but real difference is between the last 2 questions. Codeforces has those really tough, but CodeChef has much easier questions, the last 2 questions or last 3 questions. But you will not find that much difference. And the USP of CodeChef is that they have long contests. Now, every coding platform has divisions. Like you are divided into some divisions on the basis of your rating. As I talked about, are the is a number, like just a rank, not rank, number which you get on the basis of the ranks you get in the contest. So Codeforces and CodeChef both have Division 1, 2, and 3. Division 3 being the least on the basis of rating. Division 1 has the best coders, then Division 2, and then Division 3 has all those who have joined or who are just started, like 1 to 2 years they are into coding. So Codeforces has long contests for specifically for these are rated for Division 3. So and they are over span over 10 days. And the best part of this is like you learn, like you see a question of that. If you don't know, you learn a topic. Like in the previous sessions we also told, don't just learn and then apply, like learn all the things and apply. See what you have to do, then learn that particular concept, only that concept, and apply. Then see what learn, then apply. So you see the question, you see the topic, you have to apply into it, learn about that topic if you don't know, and then code it. You have 10 days. Otherwise, these are just 2 to 3 hours, so you can't learn at that time. So these are the best contest, long contest for beginners, and they are generally started from the first week only. So what's going on? February is going. February is no February 5. I guess they will be having their long contest starting soon, or it has still started. Any of you can confirm? Adarsh, Srajan, if you know.
Yes, it has started from I think yesterday 3 p.m.
Okay, okay. So it has just started. So after I give you this intro, you can go and try to do the first question, and try to do at least one question at the end of 10 days. Like after the 10 days or over, the contest is over, this, at least try to do one question. Okay, so AdCoder is not much famous, but it's since it's a Japanese website and the time of the contest is in the evening, like 5:30. Most contests start at 5:30 p.m. because of the Japan time. So, but this is the best site for competitive programming contest for beginners. And why it is, because the first two questions they have a different type of contest. So one of them is ad coder beginner contest. There are other like ad coder regular contest, grand contest, like that. But the ad coder beginner contest, the first two questions are really easy. So those of you are who just want to see what competitive programming looks like, how it feels to be in a competitive programming contest, so you must try ad coder. Okay, so this is one of the meme that is very famous for those, like I talked about the rating. CodeChef has a rating which has 3 star, 4 star, like that. So 3 star is uh, like one starting one only. So every 3 star coder after getting a green ticket long challenge, I say it is a real struggle. Like you should go through this struggle. This is not a Ananya Pandey struggle. It is really a great achievement if you try to get all the questions correct. Not all, you won't be able to get all the questions correct in the initial stage, but you should do the, yeah, like you should do these long challenges and learn and apply. Okay, so some of the other platforms. Okay, so HackerRank, that I talked about for learning the language. Then the Lead Code. Lead codes you won't require right now, but it is useful for when you are actually preparing for interviews and placements. Don't just jump into Lead Code right now. Then CSES. So it's a website that has some mathematical problems, like some of the best mathematical problems that can be solved, or not just mathematical. It has a set of competitive programming questions, the best like standard questions. So this is the website you will come across when you are doing some, you are just following some YouTube series for learning competitive programming. Then you will come across some CSES problems. Then the last is Top Coder, and you will go through it in the last only, because it's the supreme of any contest. Like Top Coder is used by the best programmers in the world, so it you will come across it later on. Then before we okay, so first problem solving. I know you have seen this slide 2 times earlier. Third time, no problem. Then so uh, if you want to see how competitive programming questions look like, so there are four parts of it. There are problem description, then the constraints, time and space, then the standard input output, and some examples cases. So let's talk about how you approach a particular problem. I am not showing you how the problem statement looks, and how we will see it later, because most of you have seen and you will get just bored of seeing that. So the approach to solving a competitive programming question is like you understand the problem statement. Then, okay, I guess I should open one question that will be a bit easier. Okay, so I will give you the overview of Codeforce's website also. Please confirm if my Codeforce's website is visible.
Yes, you can go.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how it looks. First of all, you need to register in it. So I will log in myself. Okay, so in the top you can see, these are all blogs that you can see. These are the blogs for contests, for notifying a particular contest and the details regarding the contest. You need to go into it right now. First of all, you need to go to this problem set in the top here, the top bar. Then you will see all the questions that were there in any Codeforces contest, being the latest being on the top. So you can see this green here, sort descending. So you need to click this, and then you will see the problem statements sorted by the order of the number of coders who have just tried to solve it. So for the first question, you see that there are 2,77,000 coders that have solved, participants who have solved this problem. So obviously, the more number of people who have answered it, the more easier it will be. So it has been sorted into a order that is like the easiest first, and you go a bit harder as you go down. So whenever you have to solve the problems that I on the roadmap, I told the third step to solve the code forces problem set. You can't obviously solve the whole problem set. It has thousands of questions. You just start and do this around of like go till 30, around do some 20-25 questions. And since you have done HackerRank previously, so you will be able to just bridge the gap between that normal coding that you do and the competitive programming this. So you will be able to bridge the gap. Now if I open this question, okay, so I talked about in one of the previous session. I will open the another question. So this whole thing is called the problem statement. Then this, the top thing is known as the time constraints and the space constraints. Then is the standard input output. Most of the time, like 99% of the time, you will just see this only input, standard input, output, standard input. 1% of the time you may see that you have to take input from a file, but that's very rare. Then the input and the output is given, like what you have to take the input, like how the input will be given. So in general questions, if you know what are test cases, like some of the test cases you can see like this input will be given and what is expected, like what's the output. But there are a lot of test cases behind this particular problem. When you will submit, it will be judged again against around 70 or 80 test cases maybe at max. So you don't know that how the particular test case will be. So this input and output tells you about what you can expect, like how many numbers it will be there, how they will be given, like a number separated by a number comma number, like that. Sorry. So all this information is given in this input, like how input will be given to you. Then the output, what you need, how you need to print the output. So particularly this question says like there are some words, okay, so some are very long, strictly more than 10 characters, and all should be converted. Okay, so it says that any word that has more than 10 characters, strictly more than 10 characters, you should keep the first letter and the last first alphabet, the last alphabet, and you should write. Okay, so what it says, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the number of alphabets between those first and the last character, you need to print that number in between. For like for this localization, it says L10N, then internationalization, and otherwise it is, if it is less than or equal to 10 characters long, then you need to print the same word. Yeah. So any one of you would like to try how we will solve this problem? You may raise hand, or you, if you want, I can make you the speaker, or you want me to share this question link to you. Please try. Any one of you can just try. You may write in the chat also, or make it interactive session. Like there's no problem. You just say I don't know, even like go on the mic and say I don't know. No issues. Or just try giving some intuition how you can go on. Okay, so using loop like f. Okay, what do you mean by for loop? You mean we can use length? Okay. First of all, we need to find the length of the word. So okay, we need to use the length function. Okay. 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 No problem. Replacing what? Replacing. Okay, we need to replace. You are talking about that. Any of you can just speak up also. No issues. The more you speak, the more you are able to express how you have to solve the problem. And in the interview, you have to express yourself to the interviewer how you are thinking about the question. So try if you want to speak the middle portion of the number replacing. Yeah, we need to replace. Okay, first of all, tell which data type will you use to take the input of. Like first of all, we read about the input. So it says that you are given an integer and with each of the following contains n lines in one word. Okay, and you need to. Okay, so how will you take the input for the particular word? Data type you will use. Okay, so data type. Yeah, correct. So we take the string input and
Vivesh want to speak something. Should I hand the mic to? Okay,
okay, yeah,
either.
sure. And the mic, please. Vibesh, yeah, go ahead.
भैया ये
Yeah, please go ahead.
लेंथ पहले सेव कर लेंगे स्ट्रिंग का,
ठीक है.
फिर इफ इफ एल्स स्टेटमेंट चलाएंगे. इफ लेंथ विल बी ग्रेटर देन 10
हम्म,
तो प्रिंट स्ट्रिंग जो होगा उसको इंडेक्सिंग करेंगे स्ट्रिंग का.
बिल्कुल
पहले
ठीक.
0, फिर अगला कैरेक्टर रखेंगे प्रिंट, और एंड अगर ये एक इजी प्रोसेस होगा कि एंड लगा दे लास्ट में ताकि सेम ही लाइन में रहे.
ठीक है. अच्छा, पाइथन के एंगल्स बिल्कुल ठीक है.
हाँ,
हाँ.
पाइथन आई डोंट नो सी प्लस प्लस.
नो
तो
प्रॉब्लम.
और फिर लेंथ -2 भी कर सकते हैं. अगर मान लीजिए 10 से बड़ा होगा तो ये चाहिए ना आपको फर्स्ट कैरेक्टर लेंथ -2 एंड लास्ट कैरेक्टर. तो लास्ट कैरेक्टर के लिए हम ये स्ट्रिंग का -1 यूज कर सकते हैं.
Okay, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Very good. So yeah, Ramesh,
Wait, sorry for interruption, but I guess Varun also want to
yeah,
speak.
yeah,
So,
sure, sure. Yeah, I was just going to say that only. Varun, please say.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Varun, go ahead. Yeah, you are
We
audible.
can write in Python like for using loop like for I in range of length of the string, and if the and we can give the condition like if string length is equal to 12,
Okay.
because we have to calculate the 10 words in between. So if
No,
the
no.
string length is 12,
Okay, so
10 characters.
10 characters. It says if the length is so. First of the first approach I was talking about. Read the problem statement very carefully. So it says that the word has length 10 characters, not the middle part. I guess I am
Okay.
saying it correctly. This and the number of letters. Hmm. If its length is yeah, so it says like the total word length should be greater than 10 if it's greater than 10. Okay, so you continue. Just replace your 12 with 10. Continue.
If then we can print the middle statement called replace it with 10 or 12, whatever the length is.
Okay, so you will just a minor modification. You will print the length -2 because you were just confused a little about the character length. So you will
Yes.
print the length -2 and then the last character. Yeah, it's the correct approach. Yeah, brave. Sumesh. Okay, thank you, Varun, so much. Your approach is absolutely correct. And Sumesh, please hand the mic to Brave Hearts too. Yeah, Brave Hearts. Right. Be
Yes,
brave while
sir.
you speak.
Yes, sir. Here, what we have to do is to first write for I in range 0 len str.
Yeah.
If len str greater than 10, then what we have to do? We have to replace str dot replace. In bracket, we have to first write str square bracket 2 to -2, and then put a comma and then write the len of str by -2.
Okay. So it's absolutely correct. So just I want to say something like also I just want to say like some of you are putting in chat. So others, Somesh, maybe you can, or Srajan, you can also see if any one of them is saying correct, or if they have any issue, like please pinpoint. So as you, the last person, what was your name? Sorry, actual name.
भैया हर्ष आनंद.
Okay, Harsh. Okay, Harsh. So as Harsh said, he used the particular function like replace. So here comes the thing, like others, those who said what they were doing, like they were trying to get the length of the word. So like you will come across one thing that is known as time complexity. So time complexity in the initial stages, you can think of it like the number of times you are asking computer to compute something. So like you ask the computer to tell me the length of the string. So it was just one operation. Then what did you do? If you just checked using if, you can count it as a second operation. Then if it is greater than 10, you print the first letter, then the string minus 2, length minus 2, and then the last character. Otherwise, you just print. So you can think of like these were just 4 to 5 operations. You ask the computer for 4 to 5 computations. And like 4 to 5, you think it, and then you are doing it for n times. So it input says that you are given n words. So you are doing it for n times. So what are you doing? You are doing it for 4 n times, like 4 into n times. Now the replace method, like, or I see from the chats you talk about on the WhatsApp group, you are using replace, or you are using remove function also, dot remove, python dot remove. So actually what happens if you go into the deeper level, like when you remove that, I don't know, if I am not much proficient in python, but if you can, Sachin, can we remove a character from the string, like
No,
from
we have to
remove?
first convert it into a list and then remove it and then convert it
Oh,
into a string
okay.
back.
Okay. So if you want to like remove this, so you will, what you need a list. When you ask for a list, the computer uses some resources. Then you will use a for loop to put all those string elements into that list. Then you will do it for n, because the string, no, n time nahi, the length of the word, you will do it for that. So you have you have did it for so many, you have added so many operations. Also, you think like you, when you use the remove function, you are thinking you are just doing one operation, but it's not one operation. When you remove a particular element from the list, all the elements after that element are shifted backwards in like the function that is implemented behind the replace or the remove function. So these are some costly functions, like they cost some time to the machine to process these functions. So what's problem solving is, it's not just thinking about some question and just answering that, whatever you think you just write. That is known as brute force. In the starting only you will find some basic question. Even if you apply the brute force method, what just Harsh said, it will run no problem. But as you gradually move forward, you need to optimize your code, or you need to shorten the particular length that you are using, the time constraint you are using. So that is what competitive programming has. So, so I suggest you, whenever you use some particular method like remove, replace, go on internet, write that like dot remove time complexity, or you can use Python, because Google would get confused. So use Python dot remove time complexity, and you will see something like O bracket n written there. So that is the time. You can consider it like uh, you have read about the graphs in your 11th 12th. So O of 1, like straight line, then O of n, a vertical line, then O of O of n square, it goes parabolically up. So what we see is that when we go towards infinity, as I said, there are 70-80 test cases. When you go towards infinity, that the peak n square goes to such a high value, while n is relatively like if you are 10,000, then n is 10,000, but n square is 10,000 square. So that matters the most. So you need to see that what's the time complexity is. We will share some resources to help you what time complexity and space cities. I can't just get you learn this in this session. So let's try to particularly code this problem. Code in C++. Srajan, can you code in Python also, since most of them are in Python? I will write in C++ first.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I will. Oh, till I just open my text editor, I will open one poll that Somesh just created. Okay, so just answer till I open my text editor. Which editor you use for competitive programming, or for if you are not doing competitive programming, what you use for just general coding?
I believe someone wants to speak, Aniket.
Okay, I see Harsh Anand wants to say something. You may hand him the mic. Yeah, Harsh, you want to say something?
Yes, yeah. Bhaiya, I was saying that
Huh.
we can remove any character from a string without creating a list by
Okay.
just replacing it with blank double inverted commas.
Okay. See, once again, when you are doing this replace or remove function, it is possible. I guess it is possible. I am not much proficient in Python, as I said, but yeah, yes, Rajan, you want to say something?
Yep. I will just say like he has written the code itself. See, in the
Okay.
code itself, you have written str and then you provided the index. So that index doesn't work in a string. What Python do is why Python is more like influent and easy, because it internally converts the data type itself so that it will help you. So what you are doing actually, it's a part of a dictionary or a list data type. But for the sake of your easiness, Python itself do this. It's itself converted into a list and then replace it. So see, if even if you are writing a single line, there are some big line of code that are going inside. So you have to make sure about that also.
Yeah, you may have listened that Python is a slow language. Why it's a slow language? Because you see only one line of code, but there's a lot of computation behind it for doing that particular one line of executing this one line of code. It will work, that's not an issue, but the time complexity, like try this. I am not saying the first step to doing to do any particular competitive programming question is to apply brute force. So okay, I so editor, most of you are using VS Code, okay. Sublime Text, okay. So I personally use Sublime Text. What other platform you use? VS Code, Sublime Text, Atom, maybe PyCharm. Some of you may be using Jupyter Notebooks, okay. Python Shell, Client. What's Client? I haven't heard of it. I hope it's a text editor, Adarsh. Okay, so no issues. Normal Python ideally for homework. Notepad plus plus. Okay, real coder in front of us who doesn't use any particular coding text editor. Okay, nice. Write code in binary. Okay, who said that? Mulayam. Mulayam, when you do, please help us in our coding assignments. So write in some assembly language problems. So we will ask you for help. Okay, so I will share my whole screen. Solve this question. I write code in paper and scan it. Adarsh, you are sharing some great information with us today. Okay, so I use my Sublime Text Editor is visible. Someone please confirm, Rajan.
Yeah, sure. Just make it big.
A bit bigger. Oh, yeah, sure. I hope it's clear now. Okay, I will just make. a bit longer. So this is the Sublime Text if you are using, and it has some like way to make it more familiar for competitive programming. I guess I shared it a long back ago. I will share it again. So this is how you can set up your Sublime Text editor, particularly for competitive programming. You can use VS Code. VS Code has a lot of extensions that can help you in competitive programming. I before in the first year I used only VS Code for competitive programming. Then I shifted to Sublime Text because when I was doing some development projects, my VS Code went slow, so I have to shift to Sublime Text. So you can use any of them. So I will code in C++, Rajan will code in Python. So let's start. First of all, I will just do some basic stuff. If you have any problem, raise your hand, and Sumesh can give you the mic because I can't see if you have writing something in chat. If at any point you can just stop me. Okay, so first of all, the question said we have to take an input number n. So we will declare n and we will take an input. Guys, please let me know if you have any doubts. Just don't leave the meeting because you are not understanding. Most of you are beginners, so just let me know if you just don't know what's going on. So then we have to, this is while n minus minus is Python supplement for like running a while loop for n times. Then you have to, as you all said, you have to take a string input, let it be str, and we will take the input. Then what the questions like the approaches you said, now we start with our approach. This was all the input we have to take. Then approach was, first we get the length of the string. Then this is how you get the length of string in C++. Then if length is strictly greater than 10, then you need to do something. First we write if it's less than 10. What we need to do, we just need to print the word. So you can use endl also. This is for a new line. Python automatically puts a new line. C++, for that we have to give a new line character. So if it's greater than 10, what we need to do? First we need to print the first letter of that string, that you can use using string 0. Then what you need to do? Okay, I will just write in separate lines so that it's more appealing to you. Then we need to print the length minus 2. Okay. Then finally we need to print the last character. Last character we can find using length minus 1. You may be knowing it starts from 0 and it's at length minus 1. And finally we need to print a new line. And you may or may not write return 0. That's not an issue. So this was our code. This should work, like we can see by, I will take this, I will just copy this and paste it in my input file. Okay. And I will run this code. So you see word L10N I18 NP43S. Let's just check from here. Like, yeah, you can see my Codeforces screen, right? I have shared the whole screen. Let's see. So the output exactly matches my what my output was. So this code is perfectly written, and then we have to see when like, let's go back to our approach. So what we did was, first we read the problem statement, understood it, then we visualized using sample test cases, like we did. Like, I also get confused while reading the question, so sample test case is the best method. Like I did take the localization word, for example, then I saw what they have written for localization. They had written ln and between the number of characters. So visualize, try to understand the question using the test cases, the sample test cases they have given. Then brute force approach. You should always know what the brute force, like whatever comes to you first to your mind is the brute force approach. So you should know what the brute force approach is. Then you need to see the time complexity of your code, like how much time complexity it is. If it sets into your code time limits, then it's good. If not, you have to think of a better solution for this particular question. Okay, so we see we just computed it. What we computed 4 into n, right? 4 to 5 into n something. So like n is 100 here. So at max, maybe you see like in the code I may have written 8 or 9 operations. So I did maybe 8 operations. So 8 into 8 would be 800 operations. Now computer can perform 10 power 8 operations in 1 second. 10 power 8. So it will easily run in much less than time, like 1 millisecond it will run. And what the time complexity is given? 1 second. So that's not an issue. Our code will perfectly run. Sometimes you make think of like we came across a solution that was n square time complexity. N square means like your code has some nested for loops like for I, for j, in like that. So in that case, and n is given like 10 power 5, 10 power 7. So you will see that you will get 10 power 9 operations. 10 power 9 or 10 power, assume you get 10 power 10 operations, and computer can perform 10 power 8 operations in 1 second. So if you divide, you will get 100 seconds, like your code will take 100 seconds to run that code. So it will not obviously execute it. That's where the algorithm efficiency came, and the DSA part comes, data structure and algorithm. Space you don't need to take care right now, but I see some of you who code in Python, you use some list and dictionaries where it is not required, so you may face some issues. Try to see if you can do it without some extra dictionaries or extra lists. Okay, so now how to submit? Copy this whole code, control A, copy, then go to the submit tab. It may fail, I don't know, so let's just see. Choose your language from here. I am using C++, so I have selected that. Then I will just submit. You can also choose your code file from here. Yeah, so if you get the accepted verdict, that means your code is absolutely correct. You can see other solution like I am getting memory limit exceeded, wrong answer, time limit exceeded. These are some of the errors we will talk about in just a moment. While we are on the Codeforces website, I will just show you what rating I was talking about. If you just click on your profile, you will see I am in pupil range particularly, and maximum I was at specialist 1427 rating. So you see, whenever you give some contest, you get a rating, and your rating might increase or decrease. So like some time back I was in specialist, then it dropped, then it again rise, then it again dropped. So it goes on continuous. And the if I go to just where it is, friends. Okay. So the best coder from our batch right now is Rohit, who is on the expert and has the rating of 1799. So you can contact him also if you have any doubts. And so initially don't care about your rating, care about how to solve the questions. Okay, so Sajjan, you can code it in Python now, maybe.
I posted in the chat.
Okay, nice, nice time utilization. Okay, so maybe everyone can see. If you have any doubts, let us know. Okay, Rohit, we will check your answer. Okay, let's go back to the slides right now.
If anyone have any doubts, you can raise your hand.
Yeah, please. Okay, so as I was talking about time complexity, if your time complexity doesn't set in your particular time constraints that are given, you need to write some efficient code, like use some write it efficiently doesn't mean you have to reduce number of lines of your code. You have to change your algorithm, how you are coding. Like maybe it says that you are given some 10 numbers and you have to print uh, some string of some numbers like that, and you are just printing it directly or using replace remove functions. Other than like, yeah, I saw your question of CS 101. In that you are using if you encounter any comma, you are replacing that with a empty string. Like see, there are many commas in that text, and every time you think you are removing that comma, but it actually removes that comma and just shifts the entire string backwards, one length backward. So it costs a lot of time to the particular machine. So to make it efficient, what you may have done, you may have initialized a string, empty string, and if you are not getting a comma, you put that character in the string. So it will be much better time complexity. So that ways you have to take care of the time complexity. Then there is something known as corner cases. Corner cases I talked about in my last session. Like you have to see for what, for the shorter like for the edge test cases, like if n is 0, n is some special number. I have a slide, I will talk about it. Then you submit the code. While you are getting the error, try to debug and finally get the accepted solution, accepted answer, I mean. Okay, so corner test cases. So some of this is, I took this photo from HackerRank. So you see that you may see that your code is going correctly on 4 test cases, but it shows wrong on particular test case 4. So why does this happen? This happens because of some corner test cases. Like when there is no solution possible, it's given in the code, you have to print -1 or something else, right? No answer possible or something. Take care of that. You implement that in your code as well. Then sometimes you are starting a list, and maybe that n can be 0 and the list is empty, and after writing some code, you are calling something like length dot something that it can't happen on a empty list. So in that you will get a segmentation fault or like that errors. So these are those corner test cases you need to think of. In the last question we discussed was the watermelon problem, and in that question, if you try to solve it, it was like something, if it's even, then you have to print, if odd, then you have to print, but if it was 2, then you have to print something different. So that was a particular test case. So those are known as corner test cases, and you may have to think about it, like if that happened, what we have to print. Okay, so these are some of the second, if duplicates are present and all elements. This is a very common problem, that there was one question where you have to find the second largest element in the array, and some of you were doing like sort the array, then print the second element. So that's not the case, because there may be some duplicates present. So it is not compulsory that the second element will be the second highest element. So take care of that. And errors and verdicts. So some of you would like to say something like, or put in chats, which all verdicts you have came across on your code. You have just seen the code. Okay, my screen is fully visible. Okay, I can't see the chats. Let me know if there is something in the chat. Did someone put something?
Yep, Anish is saying wrong. NZEC.
Okay, yeah. So NZEC or segmentation fault is very similar to that. Then wrong, it's one of the most common you have came across. So some of you may get compilation error. I will just go through a bit of like why you get those errors. You also saw in my codes I was getting some time limit exceeded error or runtime error. So what are those? Compilation error just means you have some sorry, and there is something wrong in your code, like it's not even compiling. So you may have missed some semicolon or just some indentation issue. Then time limit exceeded. This will occur when you do competitive programming most often. You are exceeding the time. I was saying like you are writing a code that will take 100 seconds, but the time limit given is 1 second only. So in that case, you need to improve your algorithm. Then the runtime error, I don't know Python users get that or not. So runtime error is like your code is compiling successfully, but at the runtime you are getting some issue. Like you access the list element, like list has just 10 elements, you are accessing the 100th element of the list. So that error you get is the runtime error. It's sometimes it is replaced by segmentation fault. These are much similar to it. Segmentation means you are accessing an element which doesn't exist. Then memory limit, that is when you exceed the space limits. And the recursive code error, like you have written a recursion code. Recursion code is like for another uh, brother of this for loop. So and you have not put any end statement, so it just goes on that like that. So finally, I just talk about a competitive programming contest. So we will conduct a competitive programming contest on 9th of February, and it is just exclusively for you. We have just made questions in such a manner that you will be able to solve. Like we will have some 7 to 8 questions. We have not just decided over that, and uh, it will be like absolute beginners, even like who have not solved even the first question, but at least see one question before doing this contest. Otherwise you will just get confused. So absolute beginners in CP also will be able to solve at least 3 to 4 questions, and those who have just written at least 1 to 2 codes maybe will be able to write 5 questions maybe. The last question, the seventh or the eighth question, will be on a higher difficulty side, and the other most of the questions will be easier. So make sure to give that contest. The and we will post the solution video solutions. I will post, or maybe some other team member will post the solutions of that on the YouTube channel also. Very from the basics and like that. So make sure to give that contest. You will not find such contest anywhere. Okay. So,
Thank you for attending.
thank you so much, guys, for attending the session. We have just 8 seconds left. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.